Now, these huge cases like a Diddy case, for example, how do they originate? Because it's not something where like the state's just tipping you guys off to pursue that into a bigger investigation. I feel like that kind of starts internally, or what are you guys looking for?
Yeah, so we won't know until like if there's a trial or, you know, Diddy probably has discovery now. I can only give my like my, what's the word? Estimation, right? I guess that's a terrible word to use, but like my...
professional opinion.
My professional opinion. What's the word when you
inference?
Inference, or there's the other one. My speculation. Sorry.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, this is why I can speculate. I think the criminal case probably kicked off right around the time Cassie pursued her civil litigation against him. Right. I wouldn't be surprised if they read her complaint, or she didn't go to the police already and said, "Look, he's been beating me. He's been doing all this weird shit. I'm going to file my civil case." And then I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't either talk to them then, or they approached her after the fact. "Hey, look, there's some, remnants of potential trafficking here. Can you tell us more?" And then someone like a Cassie, which I'm willing to bet she's probably a key witness in this criminal investigation, because, for the audience that's watching, keep in mind, Diddy has a bunch of civil cases going on, for sexual issues. And he has obviously the criminal case that's being run by Homeland Security Investigations and the Southern District of New York. That's where they indicted him out of. So Cassie probably gave the feds a lot of the information in the beginning that gave them the probable cause to search his homes. Because in my head, they did 2 different search warrants. One in Miami, and then they did one in LA. I know what kind of headache that's going to be, because to get a federal search warrant is hard enough, but to get one on someone's house, you need real-time information from someone that frequents the house as to so a search warrant goes like this. You need to write up an affidavit that tells you, that gives you the probable cause to go in there. And then you need to know what you're looking for, what crime it violates, and then you need to show like the structure. There's attachment A, B, and C, right? So you need real-time information of like what stuff is going to be there. So the only way you're going to get that is you need someone that had been at the house recently. Typically within 2 to 3 weeks is what we call keeping the PC fresh for federal. Every jurisdiction is different, but that's typically, like I would say, the safe way to go for most magistrate judges, because the magistrate judge is the one that's going to sign the federal search warrant. So Cassie probably put the feds on, and then she might have introduced them to someone that was going to Diddy's house that could tell them real time, yeah, he has sex videos here, camera system here, blah, blah, blah. And they were able to write federal search warrants. And then not only did they write federal search warrants, they got it for 2 different jurisdictions. So that means that they had to, because a judge can only give you a warrant for the jurisdiction that they're in. They can't. So in other words, HSI New York, right? The case agent is out of New York City, but you got a location in Miami, Florida. Then you got another location in Florida. A judge in the Southern District of New York cannot give you a warrant for a house in Miami, which is going to fall under the Southern District of Florida. So that agent either A, had to fly down to Miami with an affidavit in hand, or tell someone from the Miami field office, hey, here's the affidavit. Can you swear to it for me down with this judge? But either way, they had to coordinate with 2 other AUSA's offices to get the warrants pushed through to the judge in these different jurisdictions. That's a lot of man work. Then you had to coordinate with these other offices to simultaneously hit both of those locations at the same time. So the fact that they were able to pull that off and get federal search warrants for each one tells me that they got informants all over the place, witnesses all over the place. And not only informants and witnesses, people that are close to Diddy at the time the searches were done. Because that information to get into a house, because the house is considered like the top of the echelon when it comes to the Fourth Amendment and privacy and your papers and effects according to the Fourth Amendment. So to search someone's home, you need a lot of probable cause at the federal level. So, and then you go after someone like Diddy, the USA's office is going to make sure every affidavit is T's crossed, I's dotted, is solid, because he's going to come with a legal team the number one thing that legal teams are going to do is go after suppression hearings, right? Oh, this affidavit wasn't good. We're going to suppress all the evidence that you got out of this house. So they're going to make sure every single affidavit is rock solid, right? And then obviously the judge is going to make sure it's rock solid because of who he is. So the fact that they're able to do these coordinated search warrants, they got federal search warrants, tells me that people were very close to him that gave him that probable cause. And I estimate it was Cassie that originally probably helped get the case started, and then she probably pointed them to people that were close to Diddy, because she was married to him. Well, I don't know if she was married to him, but they were very close for years, I remember she came out with that song like Me and You in the early fucking 2000s, and they've been together since then. So
Yeah, I mean, that's really interesting. So basically, the feds don't execute a search warrant without knowing they're going to find something.
yes,
And
because
when I saw him got raided, I knew he was already done back then from my experience with the feds.
yes, dude, because I've ran hundreds of search warrants, man, literally hundreds. Writing paper for a house is not easy. And you can bring any investigator in here and they'll fucking tell you, most of the time, they go state. I'll explain what I mean by that. So there's obviously the federal system and the state system. You can push warrants through the state or the federal system. To get a state search warrant is way fucking easier than getting a federal search warrant. So a lot of the times, especially when I used to work with DEA or I used to do drug investigations, dude, most of the search warrants we would do for houses, we would go through the state because it'd be way faster. A lot of the times, these state narcotics investigators had ADA on speed dial. They had a judge on speed dial. They go to the fucking judge's house at night. Can you search it? Can you sign this? Boom, done, etc. You get in the house, you're legally there. You find drugs, it hits the federal threshold. Now you can take it federal, right? Obviously, the defense attorney a lot of times is going to challenge it. Well, went under on a state search warrant, and we're going to suppress the affidavit, blah blah. But a lot of time it stands, right? Especially if like you got a competent ADA and it's a good search warrant, etc. It's just the reason why they go state is because it's just faster. Way more efficient than the federal system for getting search warrants. So when I saw that they had federal search warrants, I was like, yeah, it's a fucking wrap. Because you need a lot of probable cause to get in someone's fucking house, dude, at the federal level. And then you have to detail, not just does your affidavit have to detail who you are, your investigation, you have to detail how you know that there's going to be evidence at that house. And then you need to specify what you're looking for in the house. You got to outline everything. Yeah, we want CDs, computers, blah, 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 etc. Because we know that it's going to be this. An informant told us that we were going to find, it's a sex trafficking case, so a lot of pornography probably. We're going to find baby oil and we're going to find videos or we're going to find sex dungeons, all that stuff, blah, 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 which they ended up, they did the searches on the houses, then they indicted them a few months later. So they got a bunch of evidence from the search warrants.
Yeah. Do you think he was expecting to get bail? Because I was reading that he voluntarily gave up his jet, voluntarily moved to New York. I feel like they might have been telling him you're going to get bail, or he was just so confident in that.
Yeah. So I talked about this with DJ Academics in detail. I'm actually surprised that he didn't get bond. So his defense team, and I got to give them credit, they did a fantastic job of creating a bond package. We're talking about putting up a home. He was telling the AUSAs everywhere he was going. He's like, hey, I'm going to be traveling here. I'm going to be traveling here. And he lives in Miami. I think he has the LA house for sale. But he knew he was going to get indicted soon. So he actually went to New York knowing he was going to get arrested. So his defense team was like super cordial and open with the U.S. Attorney's Office, telling him where he was traveling, et cetera, because they knew that this indictment was coming down. I don't think the AUSA's office was like playing ball like that. They didn't give a fuck. They're like, yo, we're going to still, be aggressive on this guy. But I thought that they were going to, the way because from what I was told and what I had heard was that the U.S. Attorney's Office isn't going to fight to keep him behind bars. They're going to let him kind of, be out on bond, fight the case from maybe on an ankle monitor, house arrest, whatever it may be. And a lot of the times, the two main things when it comes to bond hearings, guys, in the federal system is danger to community and flight risk. So for flight risk, you can't really articulate that because he told them where he was going to be. He surrendered his passport. He was very upfront about everything. Hell, he even made himself available to New York. Extremely cooperative. You can't say he's a flight risk. Then the danger to the community, which I think that's probably what the government argued more, because they did find an AR-15 in one of his houses with the serial number scratched off. That's another federal crime right there. And like just the violence, like how he beat up Cassie on camera, that looks bad optically, even though it happened back in like 2018, 2019. And then the nature of the crime, they can articulate, oh, well, he's trying witness tampering, witness intimidation, et cetera. Because I think there was some conversation about Diddy's associates that contacted some of the people that want to testify against him and witnesses. So that's what they argued, and that was able to keep him in. But I was surprised because I did generally think he has a good chance of getting bond. Yeah, I did think he was going to have a very good chance, but I think them finding the AR-15 at one of his houses during a search warrant, and then the reports of him potentially doing witness tampering, that fucked him up.
And then you look at a case like Sam Bankman-Fried where they gave him so many chances, and that bond package was a crazy bond package.
Yep.
With like all the restrictions and everything.
Yep.
And he just kept blowing it and blowing it and blowing it.
Yep. But now he's locked up. He's actually locked up with Diddy.
Yeah,
they're
they might have
bunkmates,
moved,
I think.
They probably moved him by now.
They
right?
might have moved him by now.
But he was taking, I don't know if they'd be held together because he was taking pics in General Pop.
Really? So they just, okay, because I know they were roommates for a bit.
Oh, do you think that was actually true?
No, yeah, it was true.
Oh, because he has pics with regular Gen Pop guys.
Yeah, I think they moved him now. Wait, Friedman?
Bankman-Fried, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But I know they put them together for a night or two, something like that. But I do know, because one of my buddies was BOP, so he still has someone that works over there at Brooklyn. And because they said that he was on like suicide watch or whatever, that wasn't true. They just had him in a room where they were watching him and like 24-hour surveillance, and he was by himself because obviously who he is and stuff like that. And you know, after what happened with Epstein,
they don't want that.
They don't want that again. That would be terrible, especially since the Southern District of New York pushed for him to be held.
Well, and they closed MCC too after all of that. I think it's still closed. I don't know if they reopened it yet.
Yeah, I mean that jail sucks in Brooklyn. Yeah.
Well, that's Manhattan Correctional. That's done. I was in Brooklyn.
Yeah. I think hold on.
He's in Brooklyn.
He's in Brooklyn now.
Yeah, but the counterpart to that was MCC. That's
yes. I think he might have spent his first night MCC, and then they moved him to Brooklyn. But I know now he's in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I was reading an article that they had closed it because of corruption, and they're like redoing it. I think like a year ago or something.
MCC or MDC?
MCC.
Okay.
Yeah, MDC sucks. I was there
several
times in transit, man. Literally the worst. And I was at Wyatt in Rhode Island when I got my bond revoked.
Wow,
because Connecticut, like we were talking about earlier with sheriffs, doesn't have county jails.
Yeah.
So you get indicted in Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island, you're going to Wyatt, which is a private facility like an MDC, Brooklyn, or the Chicago, or any of these places.
Yeah, Massachusetts and Connecticut don't have. Does Rhode Island have sheriff? No, they don't have them either, right?
No, they're all going to Wyatt, which is a private facility that auctions out, and they're making a killing.
So guys, quick word from our sponsor real fast. You know we don't mess around when it comes to leveling up, and that goes for your coffee too. If you're still drinking that sugary shit, you're already started your morning off wrong. 1775 Coffee's protein creamer is what real men use to start their day. 10 grams of whey protein per serving, designed to build muscle and boost metabolism. Most people are tossing whey protein into their coffee, but we took it a step further and made a creamer with whey protein already built in, no added sugar, just protein. They just dropped this protein creamer along with a whole new lineup. In addition to the classic dark and medium roast, you'll find new coffee pods and a brain-boosting mushroom blend that'll have you focused like a sniper locked in on CNN. Don't start your morning funding the woke mob and dumping garbage into your body. Do it right with 1775 Coffee. Use code FRESH to get 15% off. Guys, I'm drinking 1775 Coffee right now, man. As we walk it like we talk it over here, guys, and they got one that has a protein blend, man, so definitely go show them support. Shout out to 1775 Coffee.